Hey guys, this is Alan from Queen Creek Tropicals Plant Nursery. In today's episode, we are reviewing the Peruvian apple cactus. If you're looking for a cactus that fruits and the fruits are delicious, well, Peruvian apple is going to be the right choice for you. And let me show you why. This one right here, it's a Peruvian apple, and you can see the fruits are huge. The reason why I like this variety specifically is, well, the other variety that grows in our area is going to be the prickly pear. If you want to know more about the prickly pear cactus, I have another video where I explain in details how to propagate and grow this variety specifically. But this one right here has thorns on its fruit. So in order for you to eat it, you have to scrape the thorns off before you eat it, or you will remember eating that fruit for probably several weeks to a few months. Now, the Peruvian apple, on the other hand, it has no thorns. You can touch the skin. I mean, it's very easy to grow, and the fruits are a lot bigger, usually twice as big as the prickly pears. And that's the main reason why I like this variety specifically. They are also, in my opinion, sweeter than the prickly pear. Now, the shape of the plant itself, it's different. This is going to be an upright cactus, meaning it will grow upright. It does not really like to branch out as much unless you prune it, like this one right here. If you cut it, usually it's going to grow branches from the sides, and it's going to branch out a lot more. So if you want yours to be really to have a lot of branches, you're going to have to prune it every once in a while. Now, growing conditions for this variety. This one takes full sun anywhere in the United States, no issues. 120 degrees here in the summer is not going to hurt this variety. Wintertime, this variety does not require winter protection in areas where the soil does not freeze. If you live in an area where your soil freezes because it gets too cold for that long, this variety it's going to die in the ground unless you protect it somehow and prevent the ground around the root ball from freezing. Now, as you can see, these guys grow great in containers, and they are going to fruit because, well, in containers, you know, they grow just fine, and you hardly ever have to water them. Like in the summer, this one right here specifically, I probably water once a week, and that's here in the desert where we get, you know, 120 degrees every single day in the summer. So watering, you know, these guys, they hold a lot of water, and that's the main reason why you don't have to water them that often. You only need one for fruit. So if you don't have much space and you still want the fruit, all you need is one plant, and it will give you tons of fruit. How long do they take to fruit? Well, usually once it's fully rooted in the container or in the ground, that is when it's actually going to start flowering and fruiting. Fruiting is usually throughout the growing season, and that means when the night temperatures are about, you know, 70-80 degrees, these guys usually are going to start flowering and fruiting through the growing season. Now, the main problem that I have here in the desert, guys, is it gets so hot, and we have no shade at all, no clouds in the sky in the summer. So while the actual cactus can take the sun all day, your fruit's not going to. These guys, when it's so hot, direct sun on them, they are going to sunburn. Like this spot right here, that spot sunburn right there, and then a bug got in there. But yes, so you want to shade it just a little bit if you live here in Arizona or in any other areas where you get extreme temperatures in the summer. How big does it grow? Well, in containers, these guys are usually going to grow as big as whatever container you're putting in. Never potting in a huge container to start with. Always just go a little bigger than the actual cactus, and then they can live there for, you know, a year to 2 years, and then once they get root bound, you potting into a little bigger container, but never putting in a massive container, because that potting mix in that container will take too long to dry in between watering, and your cactus may rot. Let's see what else. Watering. This is a cactus, guys. The reason you don't water that often is because they hold a lot of water inside them. So they really don't drink the water from the soil until they drink the water from within. And usually you can tell when you need to water your cactus because the cactus itself, it will dehydrate. It's going to shrink. Think of like wrinkles on yourself. It's gonna look just like that on the cactus, and that's usually a good sign to follow when to water your cactus. But you can just guess, you know, as long as you let the potting mix dry or the soil dry 100%, give it another 2-3 days after that, and then you water, you'll be good to go. So remember, let it dry in between watering fully, and you'll be okay. Feeding your cactus, these guys do not require any specific fertilizers. In containers, any slow release fertilizer will work just fine. In the ground, to be honest, you don't need anything. If you have any kind of organic matter in the ground, they grow just fine. Here in the desert, guys, these guys grow in full clay, and I never fertilizing, and they do just fine. Very easy to grow. They propagate very easily from cuttings. And most of their growing is going to happen when it's warm at night. During the winter time, you're not going to see much growth out of them, and that's true for most plants anywhere. How big do they get? In the ground, they're going to get, I've seen like 15 footers in the ground. Now that takes many years for that to happen, and you can prune them down to keep them to whatever size you want. In the containers, usually they will stop growing once they get root bound. Once they get root bound, they will grow quickly, and then they're going to slow down. So at that point, you can pot them if you want them to grow bigger, or you can just prune them and keep them to whatever size you want. My recommendation is prune them down, because the more branches you have, the more flowers you're going to get, and the more fruit you will get. Now let's go ahead and taste the fruit, guys. Let me go ahead and pick this one right here. So how you pick the fruit? Well, all you gotta do is just grab it, twist, and pull, and done, and that's it. In my area, a lot of people like to grow dragon fruit, but the reason dragon fruit here doesn't fruit as much is because, well, for one, we lack humidity, and then the flowers open at night. We don't have the pollinators at night, so you don't get that much fruit, and on top of that, you gotta hand pollinate. This one right here, it tastes very similar to a dragon fruit. For dragon fruits, you're gonna have different varieties, but the main one's gonna be the red and the yellow ones. The yellow ones are gonna be sweeter than the red ones. This one tastes just right in between. So if you like dragon fruits and you don't wanna go through the hassle of hand pollination and just getting a few fruits and waiting years and years before you can even have one fruit, try growing a Peruvian apple, because these guys taste very similar, and let me show you what they look like on the inside. There you go. They look just like a dragon fruit, guys. And this one looks very similar to the red one, but when you actually taste it, it tastes between a red and a yellow variety. This is really good, guys. I guess Chili here, he wants some dragon fruit. Let's see, let's give him a piece and see if he likes it. Here, Chili. Hey, Killer. Come here. Come on, right? Well, let's see. Yeah, he's eating it. He's not picky. He likes sweet stuff too. Alright guys, so if you're not familiar with Peruvian apple, I highly encourage you to grow one. You can grow them in containers for a very long time since they grow very slowly. You can put them in the ground if you want yours to grow a lot bigger. Just remember, if your ground freezes, you're gonna have to do some winter protection. They can take frost, so that's good, so you don't have to frost protect them. The only time you gotta worry about them is if your ground freezes. But anyways guys, I believe I covered everything about Peruvian apple. I even show you the fruit and what it tastes like. And usually from flower to fruit, they take about 2 months in my area. And you get tons of them. But remember, yours will not fruit until it's fully rooted either in the pot or in the ground. So in the pots are gonna fruit a lot sooner because the pot's a lot smaller space. Once you put them in the ground, I've noticed these guys take up to 2 years or so before you start seeing any flowers. And the reason for that is because it takes that long for the actual cactus to root itself fully in the ground, and then once fully rooted, that's when they start growing up and they start flowering. So don't expect much fruit once you put your Peruvian cactus in the ground for at least a few years. Do not grow in the shade. They need the sun to flower and fruit. But if you live in the desert, remember, your fruit will sunburn if you get extreme temperatures in the summer. Anyways, guys, hopefully this helps you out. And then if you have any questions, let me know. And well, I will see you next time.